Hey, what is up guys? Flex Media here, bringing you another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Alright, so we are here. We getting some shit done. We are grinding some Zenny. I couldn't help but notice on my friends list, I was number 2, and I'm like, what? How is this possible? And then also it gives me a chance to kind of air my grievances a little bit. I've been doing my fair share of complaining, right, on global. I mean, if you guys have been watching my videos, whether it be about easy A's or what have you, I don't want to spoil too much of the video, but I was thinking that I needed to make a list that was a little more positive, right? So we're doing right here, I had to come up with some reasons of why do I play global still. And there are some good reasons. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to list off the top 5 pros and cons of playing global Dokkan. Let's start out with number 5. It's number 5 because it applies to pay-to-play players only. And its stones are cheaper on global. So if you were to go over to the JP side of the game, you would notice if there were no sales on stones, that they would be for global it's about $46 or I'm sorry, $45, and on the JP side of the game it's right at about $50 per 91 stone pack. So this is not applying to sales, although I think that sales are a little better on global as well. So we'll just rope that into one, but sales and stones are cheaper on global, and it's just a fact, and it is an advantage of playing global. Number 4, we have a better chance of acquiring top grossing stones. So how does that happen? Well, more countries equals more of a chance, right? I mean, just by the laws of probability, eh? It's got to be a hype banner for JP to reach number 1. Now on global, we have this lovely demographic of people in the country of France, and they frequently get us top grossing for seemingly not unhyped banners, but like banners that you would never think we would get top grossing on. For instance, like Tech Broly, we got top grossing. Why? Because France reached top grossing on the Android Play Store and the iOS Store, which is how you acquire top grossing stones. Depending on how many countries get it, we usually get between 30 and 100 stones. I mean, unless it's like an anniversary. I think one time the movie Dragon Ball Super Broly movie celebration, I think we got 150 stones. That's the most I've ever received on global. If you're an OG and you can remember a time we got more, go ahead and leave a comment or something. But yeah, usually between 30 and 100. So again, more countries equals more of a chance of getting top grossing stones. Okay, so number 3, this one's kind of short and sweet. But it definitely needs to be mentioned. Unless you, unless you're super smart or you took it in high school or something, more than likely, if you're a global player, you do not speak Japanese. So number 3, you can actually read what you're playing. And again, that one's pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to break that one down for you. But I'll just say it's much more convenient playing on the global side of the game when you're not having to constantly look on DBZ Space or the Dokkan Wiki for leader skills, passives, especially with passives getting so... I mean, some of the passives on these units are like paragraphs long. I mean, it's nuts. So being able to read those are super convenient, and that's why it comes in at number 3. Okay, so this next one, it was close. Well, let's do this active skill, huh? But it was close between number 2 and number 1. But number 2, you get to see what's coming next. So why does this matter? Well, it gives you the opportunity to skip a banner and save stones. I mean, that's the number 1A and 1B and 1C. I mean, it's that simple. You know, for instance, like most, if you were smart, you didn't summon on the LR Frieza banner because we already knew, or we had a good idea at least, that Trunks and Zamasu were right around the corner. We went through such a big lull on Global that it seemed pretty likely that we were going to get a really hype celebration, and indeed we are. Trunks and Zamasu are just a short, 4 or 5 days away. So that's why it came in at number 2. And again, this applies to pay-to-play and free-to-play players. You know, so again, the number 2 reason, you get to see what's coming next. And let's move on to number 1. And it is a big advantage of playing Global. And there are more than 5, but these were just my top 5 that I could come up with. The number 1 reason are tickets. JP, I don't think, and again, I have a JP account. It's a pretty new account. So again, you guys, please correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't believe JP has ever received tickets upon summoning on banners. So like the 4-year anniversary banners, they didn't get tickets. They had to, I mean, they did get 3-for-1 discounts, but we also got tickets based on how many stones we spent. So that double, essentially, I mean, it's all RNG, but essentially it damn near doubled your chances of pulling the unit you want. So on the 4-year anniversary, I mean, you could easily spend, so if you did, I believe you got 3 tickets per multi, right? And you had to have 10 tickets to do another multi. So that was 3 rotations plus 1. So, I mean, yeah, they kind of screwed you there, but it's free tickets. It's free summons on hype-ass Dokkan Fest banners. I mean, it's absolutely the number 1 reason why to play Global. It's the number 1 pro. And again, JP, I don't think has ever seen a ticket. So, just one more reason that I had to tell myself, hey, man, this is why you play Global. You're not a whale. You need to save money whenever you can. So tickets, number 1. Now, there are quite a few reasons why you wouldn't want to play Global as well. I did have to go over the negatives or the cons of playing the Global version of the game. So let's start with number 5. We are, let's see, okay. So number 5. We are insanely behind on Easy A's and story events. So currently, as it sits, now this will change soon, but as it sits right now, we are 18 units behind the Japanese version. Now, we are, I imagine soon going to be getting a cluster of 7 units. And that will Easy A, and that will of course trim those numbers a bit, but as it sits currently, we are 18 units behind in Easy A's. So, and they're not all the hypest Easy A's in the world, but we need these old units to be good again too. I mean, there's new players that join every day. This game has had well over 300 million downloads at this point, between global and Japanese versions. So we need these units as well. And that is not something that needs to be overlooked. Now, story events, I mean, just to name a few, the Copy Vegeta story event, that came out in March of this year. And for seemingly no reason, they've withheld it. And Copy Vegeta, I mean, he's not like the most insane free-to-play unit that there's ever been, but he's pretty damn good. And it's a crying shame that we don't have them yet. I mean, we all love free-to-play units. I mean, hey, especially free-to-play players love free-to-play units. I love free-to-play units. I get every single free-to-play unit there is. And I rainbow them if they're worthy of a rainbow. So, that's... So we're behind on Copy. Just to name a few, Copy Vegeta, the STR free-to-play Gogeta, the Universe 6 story events, which, again, those will be coming soon with the Kale and Caulifla banner, of course. That's why those haven't been released. That one's a little more understandable, but there's so many events that we're behind on. It's ridiculous. So that's why it comes in the top 5 at number 5. So, number 4. It does correlate to one of the other points on the pro side, but there is no exact set schedule that we can count on for the arrival of units. So what do I mean by that? So for instance, on the JP version, since the 4-year anniversary, which I believe they got in February and March, they've had the SS4s, or the SSJ4s, then they had the Kid Goku. So right off the bat, so we had Kid Goku before the SS4s. It's what you call a trap banner, where they want you to spend all your hard-earned stones before the 4-year anniversary. I mean, to me, it was kind of a skeezy move, and now the consequence is we haven't seen Kid Goku since then. So since, what, May, we haven't seen Kid Goku. And we more than likely are not going to see him until the Cooler banner drops. Probably in February, I would guess. On Global, during the JP 5-year anniversary is probably when we'll get the Cooler. So anyway, but moving on, so like, then we both had Vegeta, the transforming Vegeta, and then they got Kale and Caulifla, and then Trunks and Zamasu. So it's like, we just don't know. Oh, and then they got Namek Goku, LR Frieza, and then Dokkan Fest Piccolo, and then Future Gohan. There's just no telling what we're going to get next. So we had an idea we were going to get Trunks and Zamasu. My apologies. Let me carry on with this. I was getting into it there. We had an idea we were going to get Trunks and Zamasu, but it's like, then what comes after that? It's like, well, the Tanabata banner. And then are they going to try and squeeze in Dokkan Fest Piccolo? Are they going to do Kale and Caulifla? We just really don't know. So that's why it came in at number 4. Is as much of an advantage it is, we also are disadvantaged because we just don't know when we're getting these exact units. So moving on. Number 3, this is a pretty big deal for a lot of players, and it's simply we miss out on the hype when these units drop. So most content creators, short of a few, there's a few global mains out there. You got Tiger Uppercut Media, you got D Monty, you got a couple global mains. I think even First Warden, I think he switched over to JP now. So like the content creators, like there's not a lot of hype when even the biggest celebrations on global, there's not nearly as much hype as when they arrive on the JP version. And it's just simply, hey, we've all seen the super attacks. We've all seen what they can do. We've all seen their max attack stats. When it's, fresh and brand new, that's part of playing this game, is you want the sparkly, fresh, shiny new unit. And when it comes out on JP first, it really does kind of steal Global's thunder. Now, Global First content, that was another pro that I had on the pro side of the list. But again, you could also view that as a con because it throws off our schedule. Again, so not knowing what we're going to get. So certainly you can't have it always. It's just not how it works. But missing out on the hype units, it really is, it's one of the disadvantages. Probably, it's a top 3 disadvantage of playing the global side of the game. So moving on. These top 2, again, they were tough. But let's move on to number 2. We are going to receive, and this is documented and indisputable fact, so you guys can look it up for yourself. People have kept track on the Dokkan subreddit, and other, I imagine other places, maybe people keeping track at home. But we are going to, on average, receive less stones throughout the year. slash less stone compensation for mistakes on Bandai and Akatsuki's part. Now, the famous example that everyone likes to give for this, now this hasn't happened in a while. I believe this happened 2 years ago. Just before, maybe 2.5 years ago, just before I started playing the game, there was an instance where JP received a 300 stone compensation during a major celebration, because one of the characters' images was incorrect on the screen. It showed like some random ass Goku, and it was supposed to show like the SS4 Gogeta or something like that. And they received 300 stones for just a picture that was wrong. And it's like, what? And then the other famous example is Global's Great Ape system. The transformation system was jacked up for like a full entire month, and Global got no compensation for it. Basically, Bandai and Akatsuki were like, we're sorry. And you find that happens more often on Global than it does on JP. And there is good reason for that. JP makes Bandai so much more money than Global does. And again, you can look it up. That is an indisputable fact. The Japanese players are very passionate about their Dokkan battle, and they put out some serious money on this game. So again, it's part of it. Those are their primary consumers, their primary demographic for whom they're targeting. So again, there is good reason, but also, it's like, again, and it's like Bandai does these things, or Akatsuki does these things, and it's like, well, because we've shafted you guys so bad on Global, we'll give you tickets. We know we've shafted you. We know we've done you wrong, so we'll give you tickets. And this kind of just leads into number one, and the number one reason, why the number one con, is Bandai and Akatsuki simply favors JP. And it's kind of an all-encompassing number one, I do realize, but it's just a fact, and it's a fact that Global players, if you are any amount of a long-time player on Global, it's a fact, and you know that some way, somehow, you're going to get the, quote, Global shaft on this game. And it's just a part of playing Global. Again, and it's something I have to remind myself as well. It's like, well, just remember, dude, you play Global. So there's a reason why we're 18 EZA units behind. There's a reason why we're so far behind on story events. There's a reason why we don't get as many stones. There's a reason why we don't get, as many Facebook campaigns or Twitter campaigns or, there's reasons for all of it, and it all stems down to we are an afterthought, for sure. How about this? Do you remember when it was during the Android banner, the LR Androids banner? They didn't put Tech Broly on that banner, and it's like, why? Why? Clearly it was a mistake, and they didn't want to own up to it. But what they claimed was these are two separate games. That's what they claim. Just another example. So the Tech Hit, Dokkan Fest Hit, used to be a Global exclusive unit. He came out in December of last year. He's now appeared on JP 2 times before he's appeared on Global 2 times. And they got him 4 months after us. They got him, I believe, April of this year. Yeah. We haven't seen him in 10 months. So, and we didn't see Turles for 13 months. I mean, it was insane how long it had been since Turles had been on any banners. And I'm sorry, I don't count a step-up banner, because the odds of pulling him on a step-up banner are so slim to none. I mean, there's so many featured units on those banners. But anyway, guys, I could go on about the Global shaft. I could go on and on and on and on. But again, there are pros of playing on the global side, and it is particularly if you are a pay-to-play player. You know, free-to-play does seem to be more conducive to the JP side of the game. And that's it, guys. If you like these videos, I've never seen a pro and con video of playing global versus JP. So if you guys like these videos, make sure to like the video. You know, I'm at the service of y'all. Whatever y'all want to see, I will gladly provide for you. So leave a like. Comment what do you think the biggest pro and con is of playing the global side of the game. And I will catch y'all on the next one. Later.